another episode of the SK13 here on our YouTube channel. That is the SK13. Welcome to it again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ronnie Lusulire, and we are live at the La Pleasure Spa located in Bukoto, of course, along Bukoto Sasi Road, just next to Tugende in Bukoto, of course, for the best team, massage, accommodation, bar, DSTV. La Pleasure is at the place. Like I told you, this year 2022 we are getting bigger and better. Of course, I'm joined by a guest, and of course he will introduce himself and you will be getting to know all about him. He is a former soccer player and right now in administration. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Allan Munaaba as our first guest in this episode. Of course, you will be getting to know many of your stars, what is all about them, and much more. Allan, glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Who is Allan?
Allan is a young man born in Jinja, a retired footballer, and now the finance and admin officer for URA Football Club.
Of course, many people know you as a football player. Long journey in football. When did Allan start playing football?
Allan started in 2007 with SC Villa and joined URA early 2008. Where he won so many titles with URA FC till 2019.
Of course, still about football. Many people know you, like you made most of your name while playing at URA FC. What are some of those highlights that you can put up while donning the URA jersey?
Well, the greatest of them is beating KCC on the final day of the league and taking my second league title. It was really wonderful because it was a clash of the Titans that day.
And of course, the lowlights, if you can point up any.
There was a final against SC Villa with the league title secured in 2011-12 season. We lost the final to SC Villa, so I missed out on the double. Well, that's where the Ugandans call you a salon. So URA missed out on being a salon for that matter.
While at URA, how many titles did you take in total?
In total, I have a total of 8 titles. Yeah, because I have 3 Super League titles, then 2 Uganda Cups, then the Independence Cup in Zanzibar, as well as the Tusker Challenge Cup, and then the annual inaugural ED Cup.
Of course, still while at URA, many coaches, you've passed through many coaches. Who is that coach you can point out and you say probably this one is my best coach?
The best of them, to me, is Alexis Abidi.
Alexis Abidi?
Yes.
How many titles did you win under Alexis Abidi?
I won 2 league titles and the Uganda Cup. Actually, 2 Uganda Cups with him, and the league title were 3.
Fantastic. Of course, our dear viewers and our subscribers here on our YouTube channel, that is the SK13, it is a very great work you're doing. Continue subscribing, liking, and of course sharing. It is the SK13 Sports. Like we told you, it is 2020. We are getting bigger and better. We are at La Pleasure Spa located in Bukoto. Of course, for the best massage, steam, accommodation, DSTV, La Pleasure is the place. We are still with Allan Munaaba, former URA FC skipper. Of course, I think it's not a mistake when I call him a legend of the club. Is it?
It's not really a mistake because I'm actually the most successful player now. Yeah, so far still the longest serving.
Of course, to take you back, you were formerly at Sports Club Villa. Any highlights, any memories you have with Sports Club Villa? Because they are the record champions in the Uganda Premier League. Any memories you have with them?
Not so many though. The greatest of them would be playing with Emmanuel Okwi in a Uganda Cup game. Yeah. Because he was an icon of the game.
Yeah, true.
And he gave me words that propelled me to success.
That is Emmanuel Okwi.
Yes.
Currently, of course, playing in the Rwanda Premier League. That is Emmanuel Okwi with Kiyovu FC. Of course, along Mozamiru. We are still with Allan Munaaba. Of course, you will get to know things you didn't know about him. Going forward, of course, Allan, who are those teammates you can put out that probably you can never forget while at URA?
Well, look at the teammates I had in 2014 winning the Uganda Cup. Feni Ali Moses, Oscar Gaba, of course, the great Simeon Massa, because we were really exceptional, and the one and only Robert Sentong, because he always delivered when it mattered the most.
Of course, Allan, usually most players when they're playing, of course, viewers, Allan used to play left back during his times. Not many years back, because when I say during his times, our viewers will be like, when did he play? But not so many years back, he did retire from active football. Most players usually face stiff competition in their positions. We've seen it at a number of clubs. National team, remember when Guma was in, then Simeon Masaba. Yes. While at Uganda Revenue Authority, did you face any competition in the left back position?
Actually, there was not much competition in that position, because in the very essence of it, I usually compete with myself. I focus on my strength, maximize my strength, and then work on the weaknesses. Because usually, of course, were some good left full backs, some were good at passing, dribbling, but that was not my point of focus. I would look in the mirror and I would see my competition.
Then the other thing, most players, of course, when they are playing, they grow up with hopes of playing for their national team. Talk about your football career at the national team.
At the national team level, I must be honest, they were very brilliant left fullbacks at the time. Godfrey Olosimi being one, and Joseph Ochaya. So it was hard to break through that rank. Though I happened to play in all the Tulumbe campaigns.
Yeah, the Namutima.
Yeah. And got one call-up with coach Bobby Williamson. Yeah. That was all, because actually the fellows that were there actually brilliant.
Yeah, of course. How did you feel, of course, being summoned? Because we do have a number of players who have been summoned at that level of Namutima, but they are grateful. How did you feel when you got that summon onto that national team?
I really felt honored, and representing your nation, that's the greatest honor. Playing for the national team, it's like putting the icing on the cake. I felt so excited and honored.
Of course, that is a short brief of Allan at Uganda Revenue Authority. Of course, I know and I'm sure you have the side of education.
Yes.
Talk about your education background, Allan.
Well, I started my nursery school in Riverside Nursery in Jinja, then moved on to Victoria High School, primary. For my primary O-level, I was at Seta High for my O and A level. Then I moved to Makerere University, and I got a BSc in Quantitative Economics. Then moved forward with an MBA in Cyprus University. Yeah.
Of course, usually footballers find it hard to make a strike or balance between education and football. How has Allan, or how did Allan manage to balance the two?
Well, it was actually interesting, because I would move from the pitch during after training, and then I would have lectures in the evening. Yeah, that was during my campus days. So it's actually fun, because sometimes you would lose a game but then pass an exam. Yeah. So you have to balance. It's interesting. You can't make a double loss. And sometimes it would be very interesting, whereby you would win a game and also pass the paper.
that would be fantastic.
Exactly. So, and basically, fighting for education has actually come from a Bible verse my dad read to me, Proverbs 4:13. Your education is your life, guard it well, because I knew there would be life after football. So I had to balance the two.
Of course, Allan, like usually parents, when they see their kids, sons, daughters growing up, and at the same time they have probably a talent, they usually want them to focus a lot on education. How was it on your side? Tell us a brief about how your parents reacted on the side of education and football, because usually they don't want them to play football while young. They want them to concentrate fully on education or academics.
Yeah, actually, my father was so supportive, because he gave me my first pair of boots.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, because he told me, I don't want you to leave school unnoticed. At least you play football and you'll be known for something. to balance the two, because you could go either way. You could become a professional sportsman, or still somebody doing a different profession through your books.
Allan's parents supported him. The dad gave him his first pair of boots. Parents out there, you should get something from Allan's story. You should be supportive towards your children's careers. Allan, related to that, but this time on your football career.
Yes.
Of course, at one point in your career, rumors came out that you wanted to join Vipers SC. In that way, you were going to dump your club. I must say, the club you always dear to, that is URA AFC. Then you wanted to join Vipers. Tell us a brief about that situation of you being on the verge of joining Vipers SC.
Well, it was a bit tight, because here I was as a team captain leaving the club of where I was a skipper, club that I was the captain of the ship. But then, in my opinion, I always like to prefer to leave a place on a high, because we're in third place, and I said, hey, I'm leaving, and if I'm to join people who are potential champions, then it makes sense. But then I was like, I overturned and said, no, I can't again join a rival, because I may face my club. Yes.
Of course, you ended up joining Bull FC.
Yes.
Briefly, give us a brief experience of you at Bull FC. In fact, and the fact that Bull is based in Jinja and you also reside from Jinja, that experience would be good for people out there to get to know about it.
Actually, I turned down the Vipers offer and chose Bull, because I said it's all started in Jinja.
Yeah.
Started from Jinja, so it has to end
In Jinja.
in Jinja. So here came an opportunity for me to play at home. And actually, they say all birds return to their nests, and we all return home. Like all the professionals out there will still come back home. East or west home is always the best.
Yeah. So the fact that you grew up in Jinja and you wanted probably to end, because in your career you never mentioned about playing in Jinja, apart from probably playing for small teams like village teams, but top teams, you going at Bull had the fact that you grew up in Jinja had an impact of you going at Bull.
Actually, to give you a recap, I actually had a small stint with Jinja Municipal Council in the second division.
Yep.
Just because I was at school, always O-level at Seta High, so I would come and play for them momentarily. So it still began in Jinja with Jinja Municipal.
So you wanted to end it in Jinja?
Exactly.
Oh, fantastic. Of course, Allan,
Yes.
by the time you decided to quit or to end active football, many thought you still had more to offer. How did you come up with that decision? I know it is always hard. We've seen many people make tough decisions. It's tough, I must say. How did you come up with that decision of saying, I'm calling it quits?
Well, it was really so hard, because, like you said, I still have the energy. I can go for 2 to 5 years playing maybe in a central defense position, or even still fullback occasionally. But I just sat down and I realized they say fortune favors the brave. I said maybe it's time to quit and not tarnish my name. I quit on a high, because I'd left Bull initially first round one, the top of the table. We finished in 6th place. I said, okay, this is fine. And then came COVID.
Yeah,
COVID pandemic also just quickened the decision, because it stopped the sports issue countrywide. And I was like, hey, what if sports, out of sports, what next? So I asked myself that question, and I said, hey, I have my documents. Let me venture into something else.
Yeah, of course, at Bull FC, people like out there always say, Bull FC, these guys are top spenders when it comes to winning bonuses. Bull FC has it all. You happen to like in your career to have played for clubs that have the money, basing on Ugandan standards. Talk about Bull and their bonuses briefly, because everyone is like, when you win a game at Bull, you don't think about your salary. When you win 2 games or 3 games in a month, you don't want to think about your salary. How is it at Bull FC?
Well, much as I'm pro URA, but I must be, I'll speak objectively. Yeah, Bull FC, it's well remunerated. They really pay well and pay promptly. Yeah, and I think I'll hold them in high esteem for that. And it's true, you may not think of your salary in all honesty, but the catch point is you have to win the games to get the bonuses.
Still, Alan, as we are about to conclude, of course, it's a very, very long story, but we are trying to cut a long story of probably years just to about 30, 40 minutes. Yes. While at URA or in your career, off head, can you name your best 11?
While at URA.
While at URA. Yeah, while at URA, because that is the club where you had it on.
Yeah, you can. In goal, I would have Abedaira.
RIP.
Yes, rest in peace. And then fullback 2, legendary Simeon Massa. Fullback 3 for URA, that would be me, because I would have chosen the great Philip Obwinyi, but I played longer than him at URA FC. In central defense, Joseph Owino, very exceptional, and Musa Doka. Then in deep midfield, that's Oscar Gaba, the best I've seen. Very brilliant, yeah. In number 7, Dan Wagaluka. In attacking midfield, Feni Ali. Number 9, Robert Sentongo. Mwenda. Then number 10, I'll go for Augustine Nsuba. And finally, in the left flank, Stephen Bengo.
Yeah. Of course, that is Alan's Dream 11 at URA. Of course, he has included himself in the left back position. Even if you ask me, definitely I will tell you that left back position, I would put him without a doubt, because he did everything. He threw out all of his to ensure he maintained that number. Of course, it is the SK13 Sports here on our YouTube channel. Thank you for the good work you're doing, for subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting. My name is Ronnie Lusuri. I'm still with Allan Munaaba, the URA AFC legend. As we are about to conclude, of course, it is always tough to make a decision. Do you regret quitting active football? At the time, many think you still had more to offer to join administration.
Well, I don't regret, because I'd actually planned for it. You know, when I was studying, I was looking at life after, because I knew it was a career that would span a few years. So I don't regret.
You don't regret? Yeah. How are things going in administration, football administration?
Yeah, things are okay, because I'm actually at home in a club where I'm so familiar with all the procedures. So things are so fine. And of course, I pray the team performs to the best, because that smoothens everything for us, even in administration.
Alan, before we come back to that, you're a multi-talented person. We've seen you doing music, like playing the guitar. Mm-hmm. Of course, we've seen you, of course, the other side of bakery. We've heard about the bakery side of you. Talk about the bakery part of you before we come on to that side of being a musician. Yeah.
Well, actually, like you say, a wise man always says you have a contingency plan. So I was playing soccer, I invested my money into the confectionery business, and I own the Orange Bakery. So I started it while at campus, and it has been booming. It has helped me a lot, because it has supported my education, supported my siblings, and I urge also my fellow football players who are currently playing to invest their cash, because it will have that payback in future, payback analysis.
Invest your cash. Alan urges you, his fellow footballers. Of course, it is very, very good. Any players, like fellow players who have been supportive in this business of bakery?
Very many. The very first one being brother Savio Kavugo. Always his birthdays and the likes. He's always there. Very many. Yeah, the football family has always supported me, and I've also given back to them. When I make profits, I put a free cake for them.
Fantastic. Then briefly about the side of music, we've seen you do music on guitar. People, our viewers are eagerly waiting to know about that.
Well, of course, it's just they say jack of all trades is a profession at none, but it's always nice to have something else because you never know where this world may take you. Because usually play the guitar in church, sometimes on tours, charity tours. Yeah, of course we are paid for that. So in case like you see, I'm done using my feet, I can now use the fingers to make some good money and also to socialize.
That is fantastic. Now back at where you are now at Uganda Revenue Authority. Of course, you formerly played at the club. I'm very sure most of the people on the technical team and the playing staff, you once played with them. Any challenges you face while relating with them, and also how do they look up to you, like the fact that you used to play with them and now you're up there. Some players might take you for granted and they're like, we played with him, this is how we should deal with him. How do you react to them in that situation?
Well, of course, when I just now act as a forward and backward integration, I connect the players, the team to the board, and to my boss, the CEO. But the relationship, there are not so many challenges because they are so familiar to me. I was their team captain. So they find it easy to talk to me. They forward their problems and I also get back to them. But of course, they now see me in a different picture as a boss. And I also act that way. Not very bossy, but I have to show them this is the way to go.
Alan, your targets at URA, not this time not as a player, but in the administration role. What are your targets? What are your plans going forward?
Of course, moving forward, I would love to improve, very much love to improve the URAFC brand. Yeah, take these players out there, sell them out to the media. Actually, focus on having all URAFC players play overseas.
That is very fantastic. Before we conclude, during your playing days, you know, there are those players, of course, they have those moments. They have players, of course, who probably left them with a lot of memories, like best friend, funniest player. Offhead, who was your best friend during those days you were a player at URA?
Funny enough, it was my Samuel Sechito, the one I played fullback left with.
Fantastic. I've seen players usually, or in the previous years, those 1990s. Of course, you could find players competing for the same number when they are not friends. But in this generation, surprisingly, they are very good friends. I've seen it with Savio, because whenever you see Savio in a team, his best friends are fellow defenders. You see him with Mpuga, you see him with Murushid, you see him with his brother Ivan Bukenya. How does it feel? How does it feel? Talk about something like in a way of advising that competition is healthy.
Yeah, competition is healthy because God doesn't give all. You may be a better passer, maybe a better shooter. But of course, and the coaches decide when they select you today, I shouldn't feel bad. It's your time. I mean, there's a reason for that. We should be friends because after all, we put on the same badge. We're in the same team. So if you're playing, I need to support you because if I was one playing, I would love people to support me and to have the best of my A game. So why wouldn't I support my fellow counterpart?
To all of you players there in the same team, teammates who think competition is not healthy, it is healthy. Alan here tells you, he confesses that Sam Sechito, whom they used to play the same number with, that is the left back position, he was his best friend. Of course, fantastic stuff here. Like I told you, it is a very long story, but we are just trying to cut it short in just a few minutes. Alan, any parting shots before probably we end it, especially advising footballers? There are many out there. We've seen them, of course, playing in the University League. I know many. I can mention here Mwonge Amos of Wakiso Giants. There is this boy at URA, Osama, the new boy. Of course, they've all graduated. Paul Muchurezi. What advice do you give them? Because most of them, when they retire, because it's the fact that time of retirement will come, most of them, when they retire, they still want to stick into football, probably as a coach, as a trainer, but they have their qualifications. They pass with good grades. What advice do you give such players. By the way, I've interacted with one of the players in Alex Tuliraba. He's based in URA. He has formerly played at Maroons. He's one of those footballers who retired like you did, I must say, at a time when people thought you still had a lot to offer for the game. But he's doing well. He's a procurement manager in the USA. But what advice do you give to those players who are graduates out there?
So I would tell them actually to eat the food while it's still hot. That as they are playing now, they should start applying for jobs, because they never know when the career would end. Because good enough they have a transcript that will not rot. Let them not wait for the career to end and then start applying. So you start now, you never know. Be in that transition. But I must say I'm very, very proud of them.
Allan is very proud of those footballers, of course, who have gone to school, and of course they've gotten the qualifications. He has said, don't wait. Don't wait for what?
You must eat the food while it's hot. The matoke should be hot, because when it gets cold,
eat the food when it is still hot. So fellow footballers, like it is, of course, in the diaspora, we've seen it in England. The players are still actively playing, but when they sense probably in the next few years they will retire, they take on, of course, what will help them after football. We've been with Allan Munaaba, former URA, SC Villa, Bull FC, and of course JMC, currently in the URA administration. He is our first guest here. We promise we shall be bringing you different personalities in different sports disciplines: football, rugby, hockey, boxing, mention it all. But to all our subscribers, our viewers, you're doing a very good job. It is the SK13 Sports. Of course, we've been powered by La Pleasure Spa, located in Bokoto. Of course, for the best massage, steam, accommodation, bar, it is La Pleasure, located in Bokoto, along Bokoto Chisasi Road, next to Tugende. As you see just here, it is beyond just a massage. So my fellows out there, you need a relaxation, it is La Pleasure. Of course, keep on subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting to our YouTube channel, that is the SK13 Sports. Until we meet again with another personality, my name is Ronnie Lusulire. I sign out.